Hey, what's happening, everybody? Good evening. Good evening. It is 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the West Coast. Everybody at Facebook Live, over here at Periscope, Instagram. This is Success Never Sleeps, our first show of the year. I am so grateful, as always, to be here. My name is Brannon Beliso. We are presented by Rainmaker Membership Systems and Software, Market Muscles, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, and My Studio, the app. And before we bring on our special guest for tonight, we're going to chop it up with CHRIS PERILLI from PIXEL MOBB and Dojo Muscle. I just want to get caught up. My new year started on Monday, and I think I was gone skiing for about a week, and I haven't really been in the schools. I'm blessed. I am grateful every day. I was talking to a school owner, and we're wrapping up their 8-month mentoring program. And the big thing I was sharing with them passionately is that you've got to move from being a great martial arts instructor and being a great business owner into being an entrepreneur. And that's a whole different skill set, okay? And please be really mindful of that. We think about it. Many of us mistaken being a great martial artist for being a great martial arts instructor. And that's simply not true. They're two different skill sets. And then often a great martial arts instructor will mistake themselves for being a successful small business owner. Again, not true. Not true. And I think the challenge with that is we like to do what we like to do. But really where that refinement comes in your game, whether it's jujitsu, martial arts, or business, is in the details and doing those boring things, those repetitive things, the mundane things. I once quoted that, if I can find greatness in the mundane, that's when I'm really mastering life. That's when I truly master life. And a lot of people say, well, I'm not good at business. Well, then get good at business. Study, take courses, read, learn. I mean, that's the key to that, right? And then now if you're a great small business owner, how do you move into being an entrepreneur? Well, recognize that's a personality-driven business, and it's very volatile. You get sick or hurt, that business is gone in 6 months to a year. So you want to move into being an entrepreneur. And as much as I love being on the mat, I was born on the mat, literally at 3.5, 4 years old. I'll die on a mat, but my priorities have changed. I want to be with my 7-year-old daughter, my 10-year-old son. So my life revolves around their schedule. It makes my wife crazy that I'm home a lot more, but that's why I'm today. We had a record year. I shared that with everybody. We did 2.15 million. And I think that's very exceptional for 2 schools. Each one is 3,700 square feet, a little over 1,000 students. They say it doesn't matter what you make, it's what you take home. We're at about a 35-40% net. So I'm very blessed by that. I feel very grateful for that. So as you come aboard, remember, tonight's the night. What do we do tonight? Courtesy of Rainmaker, we give away a cotton candy machine, one of those innovative marketing tools I came up with a year or two ago, and people seem to be getting a lot of great success with that. And I'll be talking about that next week at the Market Muscle Conference in Suffolk, Virginia, where I get to be the keynote. So let's say hello to everybody before we bring CHRIS on, okay? I see comment from Facebook. CHRIS is a really, really smart guy. That's got to be Randy Reed. It says comment from Facebook, but I don't see anyone's names. How come I can't see anyone's names? I just see comment from Facebook. Maybe we got Kalani over here at Instagram. We got people over at Periscope. As you come aboard, put in your name, the name of your school. We'll get you entered into that random drawing, all right, courtesy of Rainmaker. We'll give away that cotton candy machine. So please start putting in the name of your school, where you're tuning in from, and make sure to share this. And if you share this after you put in the name and the name of your school, then gratefully we'll be able to enter you into this electronic drawing. Cool? Well, I don't want to waste any time. I'm going to bring this man aboard. Hey, what's happening, sir?
What's going on, Brandon? How are you?
Man, I just finished a kickboxing class. So actually, I'm looking out. There's people still leaving. I'm sweating. I just changed my clothes a little bit, throw my Disruptor t-shirt, and I just wanted to get here as soon as I can. And my wife's happy because I'm not doing the show in the dining room, but I'm really grateful to be here. I'm really grateful to have him. I tell people all the time, you're a huge influence on me in my game. All my marketing materials, if you look at most of the stuff we do, that's all been done by Dojo Muscle. It's been influenced by you. And what I share with people, and this isn't a pitch, this is just life. Life for me is about quality relationships. And what I love about CHRIS and his group over at Dojo Muscles is they listen to me. They put in some really great, amazing creative input, but ultimately they still respect the fact I am the client. They work with all the changes. I mean, I could show you stuff at base camp where we go back and forth for weeks, and it could be something as simple as moving this over eighth of an inch, or Chris going, no, no, no. You want to shore up the border on the left side, the border across the top, because it just visibly reads better. I get that. So that's what I love about the relationship. And really, whether it's a mentor, a consultant, a website, host, or anybody you're dealing with, if you don't feel strong about that relationship, and the only way that happens is it's got to be based upon your personal values. And if you truly know thyself, then you, by the law of attraction, attract amazing people like Chris. So Chris, tell people who you are and give them a quick history, because there's a lot of people here that may not know you.
Well, first and foremost, Brandon, thank you for having me here. I appreciate it
Absolutely,
very much.
Sir.
My name is CHRIS PERILLI. I am the CEO of PIXEL MOBB. PIXEL MOBB owns Dojo Muscle. Many of you have probably heard or worked with us at Dojo Muscle. If not, at PIXEL MOBB, I've had the honor to work on the last 2 book launches for Tim Ferriss. I'm currently working with the Wu-Tang Clan. We have worked with some of the top fitness coaches and consultants in the industry, doing some of the top grossing productions and online launches in the game. At Dojo Muscle, I've worked with over 1,000 school owners. I've worked with people like yourself. I've worked with Zulfi Ahmed and John Cassidy from Top Kick, and Randy Reed and Zulfi Ahmed from Bushiban, and
Yes.
Duke Rufus, Alan Belcher, and 1,000 schools. And I've had a front row education to really what works, not only just in the martial arts industry, but in marketing in general, and from video and print. So that's what I really bring to the table.
Yes, sir. With so much, everything changing all the time. One year it's reviews, other year it's, the algorithms change at Facebook. But we all know a rear naked choke is a rear naked choke. It's never going to get old. So what can you give these? A lot of people are small school owners with about 100 schools, Chris. What can they do that day in and day out will always be proven, no matter what trends, no matter what changes? What can we do every day with our marketing and our social media to really separate ourselves from everybody else?
I'm glad you asked that question, because this is something that I talk about a lot. And so, to give you a backstory, we have been given this amazing technology, which is a phone. And in that phone, you have the ability to connect to anybody in the entire world, right? And you also have a camera in it that is a high quality camera, probably just as good as some DSLRs that cost thousands of dollars. The problem with that is that it's twofold. One, every single day, there's more and more content being put online, right? Every single day, there's millions and billions of pieces of content put online. So you're essentially not just competing against your competitor down the road who's a martial arts school. You're actually competing with everybody for a small slice of shrinking attention span. And in that, we have become somewhat lazy in the fact that we can all just pop out our phone, just talk to it and say anything. And what that does is it creates a big area of white digital noise, this big mediocre area, this big just average area, because people are not really using their brains to think about what connects to people. They're not using their smarts. They're not thinking out their videos. They're not thinking out their marketing. They're just slapping things together and throwing it out there. So if I could give you the one key, this is 13 years of my experience wrapped up into one soundbite. And that is simply all marketing, all video, writing, whatever you're doing is simply trying to elicit an emotional response from somebody.
Yes, sir.
And this is a problem I think that most people kind of get lost in. They focus on sound bites, they focus on scripts, they focus on offers, but they don't focus on the simple fact that another person, where does money come from? Money comes from other people's bank accounts, right? So there's another person on that other side of the transaction. And if you connect to them like you talked about, relationships. Well, how do you make a relationship with somebody who doesn't know you? Well, you give them some thought. You give them some ideas to think about. Now, if you think about it, right now, I just actually got off doing a live on my group. And I said to everybody, and this goes for everybody watching this, do this exercise tonight or tomorrow. The next time you're sitting down watching your favorite show on cable, watch the 5 commercials that pop up and think immediately, what is the emotion that each commercial is trying to hit, right? That's it. It's not rocket science, but what we as humans always overcomplicate everything, right? So what we try to do is we try to we try to fit so much stuff in here because of fear of missing out or fear of not kind of connecting with them, those people. You know your audience. Right now, you know the 15, 20, 50 people that you have that come to you every day. You should know very well why they come to you and why they stay with you. If you understand that emotion that's behind that, you could create marketing all day long, following that emotion, following that pathway, following that emotion all the way home. Because at the end of the day, marketing is just trying to make you feel something. I watched the other day when I was sitting with my wife, one of the old Geico commercials came on. So easy, a caveman can do it. And you see the caveman and he's really mad that somebody is like discrediting him. And it has nothing to do with insurance. Zero. But it just makes you laugh. It makes you laugh and it makes you remember Geico. So easy, a caveman can do it. Right? And I think that that's the thought process. And that is the thought exercise that so many people don't actually do. What they do is they just grab their phone and they're like, okay, we have an offer. Here's my offer. You know, but if you're selling an offer, you're not selling an experience. You want to always be selling an experience over offers. Because if you can sell an experience, it doesn't matter of the price. People will pay whatever. But if you just sell an offer, it doesn't make you any different than the guy down the block trying to sell it.
Yeah, I'm real passionate about that. I'm not big on the 1999, and I'm not big on that Groupon mentality or the $10 a month gym, type of mentality. I want to create that relationship. So you're right. That emotional connection is so vital. And I think Gary Vee said that really well, right? He talked about frequency, but he also really drove home relevancy. We have to be relevant. And you're right. I mean, that white noise. And when you said that, man, that aha moment, I'm going, well, what do I post that's white noise? You're right. That whole mediocre bandwidth of just fodder. But what's I think hard with that? When somebody like Dr. Pimple Popper now has a reality show and you see 4 million hits that somebody watches a zit popping video, it gives such a mixed message, So what can we do with that? What can we do with it? Because I admit that I'm watching the Super Bowl and this guy, drinks a beer and suddenly the blonde appears and her hair is flowing, and you go, well, is that great marketing? There it is at the Super Bowl and someone shows her that puppy monkey baby thing. Remember that one a couple Super Bowls ago? Puppy monkey baby. I'm going, but we take such pride and honor in what we do in our art and our culture. What are some 1, 2, 3 points you can tell all of us just for our industry that we should be communicating to that avatar, which for most of us is that mom? What should we be saying?
Exactly. So if we were going to boil it down to brass tacks, it would be one. What is one of the key points that people bring their children to schools are? One is to have fun, right? To learn discipline, life skills, and to get a good workout. And on top of it, to have like a family-oriented, like a family community. That's what they're bringing their children to. They want discipline, they want health for them, and they want to know it's going to be safe and it's going to be fun. So when you think about it, if you think about it along the lines of like, what are the benefits to that parent, to that child? Well, they're going to do better in school. They're going to have a better home life. They're going to have better upbringing that they'll be able to deal with conflict as they grow. And the skills that they learn in martial arts are going to transfer to their life. It's going to transfer. It's going to show up in their home life. It's going to show up in their social ability with other kids. It's going to show up how they interact in school, how they lead from the front. And all of these things are the key points of why people are already coming to you and they're staying with you for that reason. It's really easy to, if you think about it, just you have every single person who's watching this has essentially a repository of information by the people who are already coming to your program right now, right? All you have to do is poll them, take them aside, ask them, pull them in the office, talk to them, find out exactly, you'll find out. And in that, you'll hear stories of transformations and stories that you can use as fodder, because there are stories all around you at all times. Every single day of your life, you have 3 to 5 stories that pop up, whether you're online at Starbucks or on the mats and seeing a child who is frustrated and overcomes that frustration by, learning the move and applying it and then applying it again and coming back. And you can see the transformations in people. Because I know I've been training jiu-jitsu now. This is my 9th year training, and I've trained boxing and Muay Thai. But
you just earned your brown belt, didn't you?
No. I'm still a purple belt. I'm on a long journey. Yeah, purple belt with a couple stripes. With one stripe, actually. Sorry. So like I've been training a long time, and I've seen in my own life and the transformation that has happened in my own life for things that when before I was a white belt that I would get irate or emotional about no longer bother me. No longer bother me when somebody's trying to choke you. That's, you know, a big 250-pound gorilla. It kind of puts the day into perspective. And that is the magic. The magic lives all around you every moment. And all you have to do is ask the people, because you'll hear stories of parents. I heard a story the other day how one guy who came to our school, he was talking about how his child, one of his teachers told him, you know, we always need, you know, there's always going to be needed for doctors, and there's going to be ditch builders, ditch diggers. And your son's just a ditch digger, meaning that his son had a learning disability and he was kind of meek. So he put him into a jiu-jitsu program. And when he first started to go, he was a little timid. And then all of a sudden he started to change. He started to focus more. He started to get better grades. And he started to look people in the eyes and shake their hand. And all of the things that we embody in the martial arts started to develop in his life. And those are the magic, because that's what parents want to hear. They want to hear that my kid's going to come to your school. My kid's going to learn. He's not going to just get pushed through. He's going to learn. He's going to be disciplined when he's wrong. He's going to have fun. He's going to make friends, and he's going to have a better life for it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what every single one of you do. You change people's lives from the inside out. You know, I've also worked with a lot of the fitness industry, and we work with a lot of CrossFit gyms and a lot of coaches. And while, yes, working out will get you in great shape, martial arts gets you in great shape, but it gets your mind, body, and your spirit in great shape. And that is, in my opinion, something that's so outstanding. And I feel like this industry needs to blow up and be exposed to the world should be exposed to that on a level. Like, this is so much past CrossFit and so much past baseball and soccer and video games. It's literally a conduit to change a person's life from the inside out.
My big takeaway, what I'm grabbing from that, is that using reviews. I was reading a bunch today about trust and how trust is really important. And we all say it's fun. We all say we're going to help your kid get better grades. We all say they're going to build their confidence. But when you were telling me this story of this guy whose son had a learning disability, that was so unique within itself, you know, and that whole element of storytelling, which Gary Vee talks about, you know, Darren Hardy, everybody talks about that. Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, everyone talks about telling that story. What you gave me right there, whatever school that kid goes to, separated that school from everybody. So what we've been trying to do more, and I'm going to emphasize with my team, is don't hesitate to take that great iPhone with the great camera when the parent's praising us. Say, hey, do you mind? Can we throw that? You know, would you give me 3 minutes of that to use? And we're always shooting footage of classes and success and promotions and stuff that goes on to promote the culture. But for me, what I got, and tell me if that's on the right path, would it be okay to ask our parents in a real environment, hey, would you mind saying that for me on the phone that I can throw up at our Facebook? What do you think of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And could you turn that into a Facebook ad?
Yes, absolutely. We do it all the time. We do it all the time. I actually get ads for our muscle up program and testimonials, and we use them as ads all the time. You know what, too, to touch on that, we could even take it a step further, because I would love to be able to, after this is over, I'm going to post a video we just did for my school. I train on the Dante Rivera here in New Jersey. And we just did a kids video, and there wasn't very much talking except class action. But
I saw it. Is that the one that's I've seen already? It's already floating around.
Yeah, it's floating around. And one of the key points that I feel like is kind of like my superpower is finding emotional clips that, listen, video is visual storytelling, so you don't necessarily always need somebody to speak it.
We know most people are muting their cell phones now. That's why you put copy. That's why you put over our videos. You're right. So imagery, a picture speaks 1,000 words. I agree with you.
You can see a child's face. There's one shot in it where the coach's professor is showing her how to do a trip, and she does it, and she looks, and he goes, nice, and she looks up with first she was like a little bit intimidated, and she looks up with this big smile, and I zoom in on that smile. And literally everybody who's watched that commercial said they got goosebumps, because just watching. We just posted
Yeah, we posted a picture similar to that. This instructor, totally candid. He's smiling and he's in focus, and the girl in the foreground is smiling, but she's out of focus. And we've just gotten so much attention to that. You know, you're right. In the world that we live in of cynicism and the challenges, to see people empowered and happy, it's almost not the norm anymore.
Yes.
It's really not the norm. And so I think what you're saying is really vital. But I think you're right. We take ourselves way too seriously.
Yeah.
And I think the flip side of that, you know, a lot of people are afraid that what they're posting is not relevant. Is there any confidence tips you can tell them, you know, to just, because Gary Vee talked about that. What I loved about Gary Vee when I first started watching his stuff, he'd be in a cab, he'd be here. Wasn't some freaking diva ring like I've got right now. None of that. But it was raw. It was emotional. Yeah, I got the diva ring from you, by the way. Yeah. Off one of his handouts, people. So you want to check out that, you know, so what should they be doing every day with that phone in their school? Because, you know, I talk to school owners every day. My clients, they're all just lost. They're lost with that in the sea of ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson and this guy and that guy. And I've got to do this and manage my pixels and do my retargeting. And these guys are still trying to, you know, fill in their Facebook accounts. They're not even there yet. So what are the simple things they can just do where they'll feel a huge impact?
I always suggest to make a repository of footage. I like to do this because I've been telling people this for a few years. Make a repository of footage. You have a phone in your pocket at all times. If you took 5 to 10 minutes a day and look for those special moments, if you see somebody getting promoted, film it. If you see kids struggling with something or having fun, you see a really packed class with high energy, film it. You did 5 to 10 minutes a day. If you did this over a course of a month or 2 months or 3 months, you'd have a ton of footage. Remember, most of the clips that you're going to show in your videos are only going to be 5 to 10, 15 seconds at the most. So you don't need an exorbitant amount of footage to make good videos. But think about what I said earlier about the emotion. Watch the emotional response that you're trying to see in these commercials. And then think about when you're on the mat, what exactly is going on. I mean, you feel the energy now. You can, as an instructor, I know as most of you are watching your instructors or your own businesses who have instructors, the instructor reads similar like a DJ, the party. Like you read the party. If the energy is low, you bring the energy up, right? So figure out what energy is going on. Take different videos of that. Now, also another key tip, make sure when you're doing this repository that you organize your clips well, meaning I would label it date and then put emotion next to it. So like the date, belt promotion, fun, happy, elated, whatever. So then this way, when you're going through your folders, you could simply go happy, boom, open one up and you have a clip. Now, if you're creating video,
Chris, should we be taking, because, you know, I noticed Facebook has the stories now, Instagram has the stories. So once you got this, you know, all this footage, you could literally create a story. You could from all that footage,
visual
instead of just randomly posting things daily, you know, just posting it because I shot it today. But really, I like that idea of culminating a bunch of stuff, and then when you have a better mindset, sitting down and looking at the different things and creating that story.
Yes, exactly. And that goes back to kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, so the stories, like the Instagram stories and the Facebook stories, mostly if you're going to do video, most of it's about like impromptu, off the cuff. The problem with impromptu off the cuff is unless you're very comfortable on camera, it gets boring and it's just another head sitting there. And so many people do it that it becomes like no difference than the other person. So the way to get around that is to always use B-roll, to use action footage mixed in with your story. And now if you sat there and talked about the transformation, kind of like what I just mentioned about that gentleman and his son, and you spiced in some clips of the kid training, him high-fiving other kids. Now you have a video, and it really doesn't take a long time to make because you have a phone. You could use iMovie, you could use Video and Leap, you could use LumaFusion. Any of those apps will make you create a video in less than 5 minutes.
Yes. Yes, I think one of the aha moments I'm having right now is you're right. So many people have that video, their phone is muted, and we need to have a lot more action footage interspersed in everything that we're doing. I mean, gone are those simple days of high-fiving somebody and smiling and wrapping a belt around them. I think All of that needs to be in there because you are telling that complete story. So people out there, I mean, you hear what he's saying. It's not, you don't need all this fancy equipment. Today's phone, some of the cameras are better than the DSLRs out there. Again, I think what I'm getting from Chris and is that you just got to think about it, right? You don't want to be part of that mediocre white noise, that bandwidth down here. If you want to separate and be the cream of the crop, rise to the top, as the House of Pain said, right? Jump around. You've got to really think about it. And I think the idea of just getting all that footage in the can, then going back when you're in the right mindset and creating those stories and those videos, that's what I think will really begin to separate all of us in a big, big way. In a big way. So I just want to check in with everybody. Hey, tonight is the night we give away the cotton candy machine courtesy of Rainmaker. It's one of my innovative ideas. People thought I was nuts in the beginning. Now it seems everybody has a cotton candy machine. So put in the name of your school, where you're tuning in from, and here at Instagram, Periscope, Facebook Live, put in the name of your school, where you're tuning in from, and then share this live broadcast with everybody, and you'll automatically be entered into our electronic drawing. I want to give a quick shout out to my cousin over here at Instagram. She's an amazing fitness model. She has a brand new calendar called Status Fitness Magazine's 2019 calendar. She's on the cover. Chris, she's on your side of the coast. I don't know what you guys could do together, but if you ever need a great fitness model, my cousin is badass. Yeah, she's amazing. So Chris, I make sure, cuz you hook up with him and I'll connect you to after. She's on the East Coast. She lives out in Virginia. You ought to see this girl. I mean, she's pretty tough. Pretty tough. Awesome. So I just want to give her a plug. She sent me the calendar, and you know, I'm all for people, especially family, and giving them some love in that. So we got Easton Town. Everybody say hello. I haven't been saying hi to people. I've just been so wrapped up into this. Please say hello. What's happening, everybody? For some reason, my feed here says comment from Facebook. I'm not seeing your name. So put in your name. Jim Evans, what's happening? Greg, what's happening? Kuntstown Martial Arts, soon to be Fleetwood Martial Arts, Eastern Pennsylvania. Greg's up in Canada. Who else is here? Chris Malloy from Australia. Put it all in. People say hello. Over here, got Mentor ATA. People, put in your name, where you're tuning in from. We're getting a lot of great knowledge tonight. And that's what I think Chris is really helping all of us, is to dispel that myth that you have to have this really overproduced product. And if you want that, you know, better quality product. I heard it today. People are getting great. The guy in Germany, Ollie Drexler. I know Ollie. When I was touring Germany, you know, I spoke at a convention that he was at. What did he get? And Facebook isn't a really big medium in Europe yet, especially in Germany, because I'm always pushing Facebook and then they always wrinkle their nose at me. So to see Ollie get great results off just not, I don't want to say, out of the box video, because none of your stuff is out of the box. It's really unique. It's really branded well. Ollie's getting great results from that. So I know I speak a lot about don't use stock photos, don't do that. But you know what? Sometimes, especially with the people coming up, you know, you can't afford that. You can't afford to spend the kind of money some of the people do in the industry. And I think we need to be very mindful as the consultants and the so-called leaders, if I may say that humbly, is that we can't tell somebody to drop 10 grand on a marketing project when you're still trying to make rent and keep your doors open. So don't hesitate to go to Chris and get some of these videos, because they're going to work for you. They will. It's a lot better than just shooting in the dark. And I've watched people blow so much money on hiring people that know nothing about nothing. Oh, I hired this wedding videographer. Whoa, time's up, pencils down. Why? Because he was referred by a friend and he's local and he had good equipment. Well, no. But he knows nothing about our industry, nothing. And just because the guy's got a camera and does 1,000 weddings doesn't mean he can shoot you a quality piece that's going to help communicate the culture of your school. Right. So if you don't have that type of money or position, please don't hesitate to do that. And I know that's totally against everything I say, right? But my budget's much different. I could afford, to utilize Chris for things like that. So I know it's totally against what I normally say, but I'm going to say it because you've got to do what's right. I was working with one school learner. He was just struggling, and he's always on here too. He was 110 students, open for 30 years. And he sat with me. He said, "What should I do?" I said, "Well, you need to teach more." He goes, "What do you mean? Every consultant says I got to work on the 20%, not the 80." I said, "Well, you're your best asset. You can't afford to pay anybody. You don't have a team. You need to get your head in the game. You need to teach better. And know that long term, you got to build a team, write the systems, all that." Here he is now, 3 years later at 350 students. But if he didn't shift his mindset and he did what every consultant told him to do, get off the floor and put some 15-year-old in charge that's not even trained so he can say, "I don't teach, I work on the 20%, he'd be closed today. He'd be close today. So, I call it like it is. And those of you out there, you should be using Chris's videos. You really should. Not just because he's here, but because it's a better representation of who you are and what you can do at this point versus wasting your money blowing on some photographer that's local that knows nothing about us. Nothing. That sound about right?
Absolutely. And to touch on that, I think a big key point of this is that most people should really understand and learn what they're doing with the videos so that when it comes time to hire somebody who's going to be more costly, you understand the nuances yourself. So like, it's like if you hired somebody and you didn't know your finances at all and you hired an accountant, what do you have as a reference point to say, this is good, this is not working for me, I'm paying X, but I don't know if I'm getting Y. And that's a big deal. So one of the things that we did in our program, and I'm just going to touch on it real quick because I don't want to pitch anybody. I just wanted to mention this. We made video vitamins. So we kind of moved away from the idea that they're stock videos, in the sense that we wanted to not just put together videos, we wanted to put together emotional conduits that you can use to attract attention and tell your stories in the body, in the feed. So essentially the video is just to capture somebody's attention, or like, oh, what is that? And then you read the story of a transformation. We had somebody do, Ollie does it too. Oliver, we've actually translated all his stuff to German.
Wow.
And yeah, it's been really awesome. Like we've had videos where people would put the video up about, say, like jujitsu and protecting themselves, and then talking about how some woman that trains with them was attacked in a parking lot. And because she knew jujitsu and Krav Maga that she trains there, she was able to get away, get home safe to her family. So you're using the video to capture attention, but you're using your own story to tell the uniqueness about your business. And that's the magic in it. And when you understand what you're doing when it comes to video, just like when you understand what you're doing when it comes to any martial art, then you have a better understanding of the why. Then you can go and say, okay, now let me get to the next step. I'm going to hire somebody. And now I can say to the person, well, how many martial arts schools have you worked with? Well, how many martial arts videos have you worked with? What is your results? Can you show me them? If they can't show you them, you should probably run the other direction.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, my financial guy, first thing I asked him is, show me your portfolio.
Right.
Anyone can talk a mean game. Show me, show it to me. Prove that to me. Theory is theory. You know that we can talk theory all day long, but until we get on that mat and we test that theory, we never get that true understanding of it. And know that too. I don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. I mean, I outsource so much stuff now because I don't want to learn that stuff. But the things that are vital that help me create the vision and the culture of my business, I will study that. I just finished a book by Brené Brown called Dare to Lead, because I'm the leader. I want to communicate better. I just read a book called The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. So I read things today that are in line with what I need to do as the architect of my business to cultivate it. So again, but the fundamentals being a young school owner out there with 100 students just trying to make rent and get there. These things we're sharing with you can do. So again, I don't want to get into that too heavy. Just guys, go to his website and look at the cost of some of those ready-made videos, and don't hesitate, because they can actually take those and splice their stuff into it too, Chris. That's okay.
Yeah,
you did with
do it on their own if they wanted to. They could take the videos and chop them up, and we've had a couple people do that too. We're actually going to be rolling out a service this year that for certain, and there's going to be an application process through it, but we're going to take a certain amount of school owners that can send us their footage with us coaching them, and we will edit them for them so they don't have to worry about that stuff. And then we're also going to be creating some videos that literally have like high quality stuff and spaces that you could plug in your own footage to your video. So it tells a story and it doesn't necessarily feel like somebody else's video at somebody else's school. That's the key.
Very
point
cool.
of this. I wanted to make
very
sure that,
cool.
like we weren't showcasing somebody else's school. We're showcasing the emotion behind what makes martial arts so important.
Yes. No, I get you. Because so much of because we lack that knowledge, we lack that experience. We don't strike emotion. We feed our ego. So the first thing they do is the instructor's in there breaking boards and doing jumping, flying kicks. I'm going, I don't, you walk into my school, there's not a picture of me. There's not anything that says Brannon Beliso owns this school. Zero. Because you're right. I promote a culture, and through emotion, we create that. I mean, just like everything I've ever done, it's always been emotional. It's been very heartfelt. And that's, I think, the reputation I have throughout the industry, because there's the nuts and bolts and the meat and potatoes. I get that 1 + 1 = 2. But for me, 1 + 1 = Kool-Aid. You know, the potential is unlimited, and it really is. But that takes a whole nother level of learning. And a lot of us at this point in the beginning stages aren't quite there. So often, and I know I did this, and you might back me up on this, do not mistake an ego for vision.
Right.
Ego's a very dangerous animal, and ego strives to be right, where humility wants to get it right. So be humble enough to say, you know, I don't know anything about video. I don't know anything about copy. I don't know anything about this. So I'm going to go. But it's hard, because when you're in that place and someone simply shouts at you, I'm the expert and you're not, that's not very empowering to the school owners. So any consultant sitting on the line with us, you know, be mindful of that too. We want to recognize, I want to be empathetic towards people in the industry. That's super important. And I see we've got several consultants. I can see their names. And you guys, we can't just simply say, I'm the expert, you're not. That's not empowering. We are here to teach people, not give them a fish. Let's teach them the fish, right? Absolutely. And I think that's one of the reasons I've been so excited to have Chris on. Think about how much we've learned. I can't tell you how much I've learned so far. So I think we need to be really mindful of that, don't you?
I want to touch on 2 more points, actually. So one other exercise that you guys can do if you're thinking about creating your own videos, right, is to take a pad and write down the story that you're thinking about talking about, or write down the video that you think you're creating. This is very, very important, and this is probably one of the big steps that 99% of the people who ever created a video never did, and that's why they kind of get a willy-nilly, like, let me figure out how these pieces are going to fit, rather than creating a concept on how it's going to fit, right? And it's better to lay it out on paper and measure 10 times, cut once, rather than just taking kind of a machine gun and spraying it everywhere and then saying, okay, how are we going to fit this together? Take down a piece of paper, write down the objective, write down the story, and then write down the emotion that story fills, right? Make the emotion that you feel it's going to convey. And then from that point, you think in your head, what are the shots that I need to get that emotion across besides me just talking about the story? And then you can go in with a directive, which is so much easier when you have clarity of where you're going. It's much easier to get there than just saying, all right, I'm going to shoot. Because what happens a lot of times, and I've coached so many business owners to make their own videos, and some of them have absolutely surprised me in how great they can actually be, coming from not having any knowledge whatsoever. And the simple fact is this: when you don't make a decision, you actually make a decision. When you don't make that decision, you actually make the decision of, I'm going to get everything because I'm really not sure and I'm kind of scared of what I need to get. So you wind up shooting way too much stuff. And then you're sitting there trying to edit it. And you're like, oh, man, I got to go through all this stuff. Now you have to relive everything, for which if it was an hour class, you got to go through the hour again. And the key point of this is, you know this, you were a musician, right? Video is trying to make visual music. That's what we're trying to do. And the key point of video making visual music is the power in music doesn't just come from the instruments, the notes, and the lyrics. It also comes from the space and the silence between that creates that rhythm, right? When you create that rhythm, so that's what you need to think about. You need to think about, what am I trying to say? And how am I going to say this? And how am I going to film that's going to elicit that response, that emotional response, and then put it together in a way that has that flow? And if you can do that, you get them.
Yeah, it's super poignant when you make that, because that's one of the things I learned as a songwriter. A lot of people don't know that. I had a major record deal, #1 album, 3 top 10 hits over in Asia. It's sometimes understanding where not to play the music.
Yes.
Right? It's where not to play the music. It's the same thing here when you tell that story. Sometimes it's just that rest, that beat, that silence, that breath to let the audience take it in, and then boom, you're off and running. Help me with this one, Chris. A lot of people will tend to do videos where they just do a mashup of all their programs. I notice a lot of your stuff is really separated, and I agree with you on this. And that's why I want to share that with this is for kids jiu-jitsu. This one's for adult taekwondo. This is for fitness kickboxing. This is for day camp. You know, I was watching this one guy, and he sent me his video, goes, tell me what you think. And it started out with flames, and it had a monster truck voice, and it goes, respect. And this little kid's meditating. And then it cuts to a shot of this chick kneeing this guy in the groin and elbowing him in the face. And I said, well, I don't know if that even goes together. And do you think that's a fun? You've seen it too, right?
I never seen that one, no. But I would definitely.
But you've seen stuff like that. But you've seen stuff like that, right?
Very much.
Where it's
so.
all mashed up. Do
Yes.
you think they should mash up stuff like that, or do separate videos, targeted videos?
I am a big advocate of targeted videos because all
Yes.
of your marketing eventually is going to be targeted in some. So what happens is the more that we become congested and saturated with different people in markets, you need to be able to slice out and parse out what you're doing to different people, because you're going to speak to the parent different than you're going to speak to the 35-year-old guy who feels out of shape and kind of like beat down from life and wants to just kind of reclaim his manhood with a program. You're going to speak very differently to that gentleman than you're going to speak to a mom who is literally looking to have her child who's like 5 come and learn, you know, life skills and stuff like that. So being able to separate those two is hugely important. And then on top of it, when you get into the mix of online marketing with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, that targeting systems allow you to be so hyper targeted and make videos that are specifically speaking to that audience. And that when you can do that and you can target those audiences, you lower your ad spend greatly and you increase your effectiveness exponentially.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think it'd be probably a very bizarre video if I saw Dr. Pimple Popper, you know, doing a cook show at the same time. That'd be a bad day, right?
Yeah. And
Okay, well, Dr. Pimple Popper now makes chow mein. Oh, that'd be a bad thing to do. I don't think that lays really well. So, Chris, I'm gonna let you wrap us up, man. Then I'm gonna give away this cotton candy machine and kind of take everybody home and summarize everything. My mind's just moving a million miles an hour. But you know, give us something real, man. You've given us so much. I mean, give us something real. You've given us so much, but you know, just give me that. Give me that end of the movie. This has been like, you know, it's been great because like sometimes a movie's really good in the middle, not in the beginning and the end. But this has been a great show from beginning to end with you. What could you possibly give us to wrap this up?
if I can give you anything in terms of video, and a lot of people they feel unconfident about being, you know, they can run a class, right? But once the camera turns on, you're looking at this inanimate object that's like the eye of death that you're looking at, right? And people kind of just fall apart. And I could give you this information because I was deathly afraid of public speaking. I'll be speaking next week with you at a event.
Yes, right? At Mark Muscle.
That used to be a huge fear of mine until one of my mentors told me specifically, it's not about you. It's about the information that you have, and you do the world a disservice if you don't teach that information and get it out. There's somebody right now needing the information that you have, needing the skills and the inspiration and the stories that you have, that if you don't get it out there, you literally do them, their family, and you and your family a disservice. So don't worry about people. There's always going to be people that are going to make fun. There's going to be troll comments. I get some terrible comments sometimes on my ads.
I get tons of them.
Yeah. But those are not your tribe. But there are people out there looking to be led. And right now in this world, we need leaders more than we need anything else. We live in a dark, seemingly dark world. There's many times where they say that, you know, all the vices in the world, drinking, drugs, sex, gambling, cookies, whatever they are literally trying to replace the one thing that we seem to be missing in this world, in this hyper-connected world, which is connection, human connection. Connect to people, get your message out, and help the world.
Yes, sir. Hey, Chris, I want to thank you. I love you, sir. You know,
Thank you. I love you.
I'm very passionate about telling people that I love them. And I do love you. I don't get to see you. I'm going to get to see you next week
Yes,
for
sir.
I think the first time or the second time in my life. But
A second
you know,
time.
just the brother and spiritual connection I have with you. I hope we get to hang out a little bit next week
We
too,
definitely will.
in all this craziness. And you know, I'm going to invite you publicly to please post more at our disruptor page.
Okay.
Please do that. Anything you want to post, you know, I'm big on that. I don't censor people's stuff unless it's just, you know, somebody going on a rant or it's just not in line. I love it though. If you can post content, share with people, I would be humbled. I would be grateful. And I'm sure everybody in the disruptor group, and we're over 1,000 something strong now. Is that what we're up to, K1? Something like that. And they're good people. And everybody's looking for that ladder, in the words of Prince. And everybody just wants to get to their higher self. They want to do better. They want to be better. And you're right. We're bombarded with so much desensitized information. And what we really long for is that human connectivity. And it's rooted in a deep sense of trust. And what I love about our relationship from day one is you're always a straight shooter. You know, you didn't promise anything you couldn't produce. And whenever you didn't, and this was my first experience. I'm going to give this to you now before I let Chris go. He had did something for me from our grand opening, and it wasn't right. So it arrives 2 days before our grand opening, and it wasn't right. He redid it, called a local printer in San Francisco, had them printed in 1 day, and I couldn't imagine what that cost. And I was able to pick it up within 24 hours to have on our doorstep for our grand opening. And I was floored. You know, even though I had to drive into the city, you know, which can be chaotic, I was just like numb all the way driving in going, did this just happen? Did this freaking just happen? This guy doesn't even really know me, you know, and he redid the whole thing, ate the cost, and had it ready for me. And that to me is, you know, I'm big on service, but this was like, you know, service amplified by 10. And that was my first initial experience interacting with you. Do you remember that?
Yeah. You got to pay it forward sometimes, you know?
Yep. And I don't forget those things. So I want to say, I love you, sir. I have deep respect for you. I'm very grateful that you're here today, and I'll get to see you next week.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yep.
So there you go, folks. You know, to me, every day is New Year's Day. At midnight, I mentally say to myself, Happy New Year. But the one thing I was reading, and I don't think anything happens by coincidence. I saw it the other day. It was Dalai Lama or Gandhi. Where there is love, there is life. I don't want to survive. I don't want it to be, it's all about business. It's not personal. I don't want it to be, you know, I got to get over on you. I don't want it to be, I got to get mine. You know, I got to watch my back. I don't want to live as a survivor. I want to live. And in order to live, I have to love. So I've always made that. I tell people I love them all the time. And I know it leaves people a little unnerved, right? Hey, this guy's telling me he loves them, you know, that he loves me. But love to me is, out of all the emotions, it's the one I think on a very deep spiritual level can really offer us an opportunity to experience life on a whole nother level. And I share that all the time. I went from welfare and food stamps, dirt poor, sometimes no food for 2-3 days at a time, to living a very, very amazing life financially. But money is not love. Money doesn't define me. And for me, it's very, very important that every project I do, everybody I interact with, everyone that I engage with, I have a deep sense of love for. And that could just be, we share the love of martial arts, or we share the love of making a difference in people's lives, or we share the love of health. If we share that, for that reason alone, I love you. And if you want to bring people into your space and have that law of attraction, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to do that being Cobra Kai, putting people down, criticizing them, ridiculing them, and behaving with I'm holier than thou. That does not inspire people to greatness. Yes, there is that demographic that falls in line like sheep and want to be disciplined, put me down, criticize me, I'll respond better. There is that type of mindset. Do I think that's sustainable? No way. Do I think that's growth oriented? No way. Who in this world has had a Cobra Kai instructor? I've had several of them, right? Kill or be killed. Right? And I mean, I understand that, but I believe, and Chris pointed that very clearly, the mind, body, and the spirit. That's what makes the martial arts so unique. That's what separates us from the bottom feeders and the people still dragging their knuckles. It really does. So I was talking to one of my clients today, and they go, we're incorporating meditation back into our classes. I was so proud of that, because we always meditate, even in our excellent kids, 4 to 6-year-old classes, just to sit there still and find that sense of balance and wholeness for even a second. That's one of the things that makes the martial arts great. But so many people have weeded that out. We will not meditate. No, nobody wants meditation. Nobody wants katas. No, I saw this Pumze thing on the other day at this college with like 1,000 freaking people doing a Pumze seminar. So don't tell me that Pumzes are dead, that kata is dead. I think it's simply from our own fear of being inadequate, our own fear of standing up to our values and saying, I value meditation, so I'm not going to eliminate that from my culture, because they're telling me if you meditate, you won't make money. Everybody's going to quit. I'm not going to take kata out of our curriculum because they tell me katas are boring. Nobody wants to do them and you won't make any money because you don't do katas. Live by your values. Live by those values. And when you're cultivating these videos that Chris is talking about, do they convey your values? Because values create that emotional connection that we hunger for, that we want to connect with other people. It is values that do that, not some slick footage, not some sales script that you've rehearsed and bought from somebody online. That does not create a human emotion in anybody. So be very mindful of that. Cool. So, hey, we're here. We're almost at the end of this. So I want you to put in the name of your school, where you're tuning in from, and share this. Okay. Make sure you do that. Do that right now, because I want to make sure that we get you into this drawing. So over here at Instagram, put in the name of your school, where you're tuning in from, and share this with everybody. Over here at Facebook, Periscope, put in the name of your school, where you're tuning in from, okay? Put it in there, put it in there. And then when this is all wrapped up, I want to make sure I give my cousin a healthy plug. Send us a link, cuz, where we can get your calendar. It's a great calendar. And then K1 will take it from Facebook. He'll post it at Instagram. He'll post it at Facebook. He'll post it at Periscope, and make sure that we do that. What I love about my cousin's work is that her body is her palette. And she's just amazing. I mean, she's not only beautiful outside, she's beautiful inside. And for me, that's very inspirational. And hopefully one day I'll get to see her face to face. We connected through Facebook and online, like so many of us do, but she's like that cousin from far away. But I love her deeply. I definitely do. Cool. Over here we have Kale, and we have Charlton ATA near Cleveland, Ohio. Velez Martial Arts, Sacramento, California. Cool. And I've got a lot of stuff coming up. Everybody knows I'll be on the East Coast next week. I'm the keynote speaker at the Market Muscles Marketing Conference. I believe that's what it's called. K1 will put that plug in you. If you're on that East Coast, I know it's only reserved for Market Muscle clients. So people who are hoping to see me won't be able to get that. But you can come join me in April for It's Time Live Empowered. We have moved the dates. Instead of April 6th and 7th, some of you will be here the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Google has a big convention in town. Every room is like $300 a room. So we're going to move it to the following week, April 13th and 14th. For some people, it'll be a 4-day experience, 13, 14, 15, and 16. We'll put that in there as well. Come out here, hang out with us, enjoy our culture, experience it firsthand, and you'll understand why the art of selling without selling, no contracts, no upgrades, no bell testing fees, no phone scripts, no sales scripts. We don't even have an office at either location. We did 2.15 million in 2018. And unfortunately, data is, money talks. And if I didn't have some financial success, everybody would think I'm a lunatic. Right? Because we're told and told again, the only way to make money in our industry, you must have contracts. We're told you must have bell testing fees. You must have upgrades. You must have, enrollment fees. You must. Don't tell anybody. Don't let anybody tell you what your life should be and how to achieve success. Success is how you define it, not how I define it or anybody else. Cool? But you got to find the way to make that happen. All right, people? Cool. So over here, if you at Fit to Rock Girl _ Irene Mingrino, they can easily message her. So take that K1, pop it up over here at Be Live, so everybody has that. You got to get the calendar. It's really cool. So everybody put the name of your school. Everybody in there? I don't want to miss anyone. So just share it. I can't wait to find out who wins tonight. Cool. There. If you want to sign up for It's Time Live Empowered, go to brannonbeliso.com/itstime/live. There's the new dates, the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. Some people stay 1 day, 2 days, or 4 days. Brian Jordan, South Coast Karate. You are very welcome, sir. CDK Taekwondo Club, San Antonio, Texas. House of Martial Arts, Carmel, Indiana. Icon Martial Arts in Texas. Sagasu Family Martial Arts. I love it. A lot of new people here. This comment is, so if it's a post on your business page about your 5 to 7-year-old class, make sure the link you use takes them to the 5 and 7-year-old subpage with video and info lead capture from. I agree with that. Stephen Reinstein shared that to me. We were talking about that. If I'm going to do a kids at Facebook and I send them to the homepage, please don't do that. Send them directly to the landing page that only talks about kids, that kids program that correlates with the Facebook ad. Yeah, I agree with that one 150%. What else? Anything else? When you drive traffic via your paid ads and links, drive them to, okay, that I already got that. How would we focus on one video program on cover page of website when you have multiple programs? Well, we do that. We have a short video loop that's at the top of our above the fold, as one would say. And it's a short collage, but there's no sound, there's no copy underneath. But our mission statement, that's the one thing that ties all of that together. We were very bold in doing this. A lot of people don't do this, but we chose to be different. And our mission statement sits at the top. So go to onemartialarts.com. You'll see that. It's a short loop of all our different programs, but what ties it all together is our why. And we chose that consciously. Yeah, we got the trials in the corner where you can do one class and all that, but we really recognize above the fold is a lot different. When Chris talks about that emotional connection, everybody before, a year ago, above the fold, what do you got? Opt-in over here, boom, try us here, boom, $19.99 special. They're trying to cram all this information because this real estate above the fold used to be the end all be all. It's no longer that anymore. People will scroll down. So be mindful of that. What you put above the fold in that first 0 to 8 seconds that's going to capture somebody must be emotional and must separate you from everybody else. So really think about that, okay? You guys have such a good engine built for it to go with all your community activity. We do. And I recognize my best form of marketing is community marketing. I mean, I built my whole consulting as far as the Brannon Beliso brand on being a huge part of the martial arts community and being a giver and not being a taker. And it's culminated into a 6-figure consulting business, but I give, and that's very, very important to everything I do. Cool. We got about 1 more minute. So put the name of your school and put it all in there. And I'm so excited to meet everybody next week. And again, if you can't be there next week, come join me in April. I know in May, I'm going to be at the My Studio Business Summit at Harvard. I'll be sitting on a panel with Melody Schulman and Greg Horton, all these other great speakers. So you may catch us at the My Studio event. The Business Summit, look for that. That's going to be at Harvard in May. It's the first martial arts business summit that's ever been at Harvard. How cool is that? I get to speak at Harvard. How freaking cool is that? Next month, I'll be in Cozumel. I'll be in Cancun speaking out there. So a lot of stuff going on. And I'm so blessed and grateful every day. So you guys ready to do this? What do you think? Everybody ready? All right. So we give away this cotton candy machine every Wednesday night, courtesy of Rainmaker Membership Systems and Software, one of our sponsors. And it's an innovative idea. We take this cotton candy machine to back to school night. We do it at soccer, Little League openings. We do it at school fairs. We do it anywhere they want this thing. Because if you limit your marketing to the demo team, school talks, and a booth, you've missed a huge demographic and a huge opportunity. So I came up with this cotton candy idea several years ago, and it's had a huge impact in positioning our business as a business that cares, a business that gives back to the community. Cool? So let's do this. Are we ready? Give me a big drum roll. All right, everybody. Tonight's winner of the cotton candy machine, courtesy of Rainmaker Membership Systems and Software, is... Man, K1. Oh, there it is. Nathan Cantu from Icon Martial Arts. Nathan, are you there? Come on, Disruptors, start giving him some love. Saying congratulations, Nathan Cantu of, I believe, Icon Martial Arts in Texas. Put it in there. Congratulations. Cool. Congratulations. Put it in there, everybody. Put it in there. Give him a big congratulations. Everybody over here at Instagram, Periscope. Tell people you love them. Give Nathan Cantu the love. Nathan, are you there? If you're there, put it in there. Tell us you're there and excited. Again, courtesy of Rainmaker Membership Systems and Software. Thank you so much to Scott Doloff, everybody over there, Jeff Denew, everybody over there, Jeff Denew. I don't know why I'm saying Jeff Denew. That's a different group. But Scott, everybody over there at Rainmaker, thank you so much for supporting us. Nathan, are you there? There you go. Congratulations. Oh my God. Awesome. There you go. Congratulations. Keep it coming, disruptors. Everybody here. And please come be part of our Disruptor Facebook group page. It's powerful. It really, really has been serving our community in a big way. You know me, I'm a disruptor. And what a disruptor is somebody that comes into an industry with a new innovative way of thinking and helps create a new version of success. I'm passionate about that. Don't live my success. Don't live anyone's success. Figure it out for yourself and become wildly successful. I think that's what makes life so amazing is when I can find out and live life on my terms. What makes me happy? What fulfills me? It's a wonderful thing. It's such a wonderful thing. And I encourage that. You are a unique, special individual, and don't be led to slaughter and fall in line like sheep, blindly going into the night, asleep, and wake up 40, 50 years from now with a business that has, 60 students. You wonder what happened and why you never achieved that success. Really, for me, innovation is about failure. I fail up every day. I'm always out there. And my cousin will vouch for that. That muscle doesn't grow until it's failing. That last rep, when that muscle is just failing and it's just fatigue, that's when you change the shape of that muscle. And it's the same thing in life. If you want to be successful, then embrace failure, right? Embrace failure with lots of love, because in that failure are the roots of success. Cool, cool, cool. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you do that. Go over to YouTube, and we got hundreds of hours of videos there. Make sure that you go to brannonbeliso.com for all my services, and do join us. Come out and join us for It's Time Live Empowered in April. All right. Thank you so much to Rainmaker. Thank you so much to Market Muscles, LC Accounting, Kids Love Life Skills, and My Studio, the app. Until we talk again, please, 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 you go out there and live your best life.